Hi, thanks for joining me again. Today I just felt like doing a quick video on how healing really does happen when there's a lot of stuff that someone is holding in their system. And I'm talking about traumas, beliefs, projections, all kinds of different things and parts that don't actually belong to the person. And it's great to bring in, good energy, love and light and all that nice stuff. But if you have a lot of dark, stagnant energy that's sitting in your field, in your body, bringing in light doesn't always help because you have to first clear out the gunk. And many people carry a lot of it. And throughout the healing sessions that I'm doing lately, I'm realizing that there is pretty much no point in bringing light and love and happiness in if there's a lot of stuff in the way. So what has to happen is a cleansing. And it might happen in 1 minute, and it might happen in 10 minutes. And a huge amount of chunks and toxins are usually released through this process. And I could explain this process, but it's quite individual for each person, but I can give some examples. So for some people, it might be through fire. Now, not real fire. What I mean is through my capacity of just visualizing things and my intuitive feeling. And sometimes it's not even that I'm trying to think of anything, it's just an element does appear as a cleansing element, something that needs to be used to cleanse this person of this stuff. And a lot of the time, fire does come up. Fire usually comes up before anything, like water. Water usually comes later. The fire in some way burns all the falseness. And it's not that I'm not just doing it. I'm actually telling the person that this is happening because you want to be active in your healing and you want to be ready to let it go. If the person's not ready to let it go, they're not going to be in my office, that's for sure. So there's a lot of clearing through fire. When the water comes through, it's not it's not just like a stream. It's like a waterfall. Like if you've been to Niagara Falls, it's that kind of water that's coming through, and it usually clears out the ashes that's burnt up that came from the fire. So these are a lot of very interesting images that I do get, and a lot of the time the person feels it happening. And another one I've had to clear several, actually from quite a few people, are what I see are black snakes. Now, it looks slightly different for each person. Like I've had some where all the projections, the thoughts, the beliefs, I've seen them come out in like a million snakes, like just snakes, like clumps of snakes just being pulled out. And usually they're sent into light to be destroyed, or their heads are chopped off. Sometimes it'll be one long snake that I have to pull out. And I know that, like, if you just tuned in now, I'm not talking about real snakes. I'm talking just in case someone hears this and they're not sure what I'm talking about. These are not real snakes, obviously. They're all energetic snakes. They're representing, especially if they're black, they're representing a lot of the darkness and the falseness that we're holding within. I love animals. I even love snakes. So I'm not saying snakes are bad or anything, but in this sense, they're symbolic of something that needs to be healed and transformed. So snakes come out, and a lot of it is old stuff that has just been sucking the person's energy. So I'd say about 100% of the sessions, okay, wait, it goes both ways. Some of the sessions, the person feels very energized and much lighter. And there are people who leave feeling like they need to sleep. But that's also a good thing, because you need to sleep after such healings happen. But the reason they feel so energized is because they just unloaded a whole bunch of stuff that's been weighing them down and draining them, right? I once saw the image of a bowling ball I had to take out of one of my clients, and that was a hard one. I didn't know exactly what to do with it. Um, I've seen tornadoes. This was an interesting one. So I didn't even have to think about it. A tornado came in, literally to clean out and stir up the entire person's heart center, and everything got pulled out and sucked out, and then completely sent out to be kind of exploded into light, like a nuclear light bomb, pretty much. This might sound a little wacky to some of you. It's okay. I'm just explaining why a lot of the healings are happening this way. It's because we carry so much stuff, and the only way to clear it out is by sometimes a little bit more aggressive. Not aggressive. Is that the right word? I don't know. It's very direct and very powerful imagery that ends up actually being sensed by the client in a very interesting way. They might feel tingling, they might feel heat, they might feel literally fire burning in their throat. For the very sensitive people, some people do feel these things, and it's very interesting. A lot of people have their powerful parts of them that they forgot, that they didn't even realize that they were. And once the space is cleared, there's more space for the truth to come in. And that's why it's very interesting to see that, like I've had one person that had a deep well kind of sinking into their heart, and at the very bottom was the sadness. And the only way to clear that, I had to work with it through the session, through the words, through basically coaching her through the session. We had to slowly lift it out, lift it out, lift it out, lift it out. And then it eventually did come out, and we discarded it. But it was there for a reason. And it's because this person was not being in their power. So once that sadness was lifted, and then the truth came in of who she was, there was no reason for it to be there anymore, because there was a connection to the truth and an acceptance and a knowing. So that's all. I guess I just wanted to kind of give a little summary of what's been going on lately in my sessions, and I find them quite interesting, and most people are finding them quite interesting. The imagery that comes up is sometimes alarming and almost warlike, because a lot of our stuff it needs to be cleaned out for the truth to come in. Okay, so I hope that kind of, gave you some interesting information of just what is possible in your own healing. And if you're feeling heavy, depressed, anxious, completely disconnected from yourself, sad, and you're just wondering why, it's most of the time because you're holding on to stuff that's not yours, meaning your past. It needs to be there anymore, and you're not being yourself in your power. That's basically it. Now, it sounds simple. There's some work to do there, but that's the basics. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.